Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the predictions and breakdowns for UFC Fight Night. Carlos Ulberg versus Dominick Reyes, which is taking place in Perth, Western Australia. And we're going to be taking a look at the entire card, starting off with the early prelims, ending with the main event, and giving a full prediction and breakdown on every single fight. We have a lot of underdogs. I like this card. The card does start at 7 p.m. tomorrow. We are going to be looking at a little bit of a later card. It doesn't matter. The fights are fantastic, and we are locked in, and we are absolutely loaded for a fantastic night of fights. Now, here we go with the first fight of the evening, looking at Loma Lookboonmee versus Alexia Thinera. I am picking Alexia Thinera. It just seems that she has a lot of skill set when it comes to the strawweight division. You have Loma Lookboonmee, who looks a little bit one-dimensional, Muay Thai striker, doesn't really have a whole lot of good submissions. She does have one rear naked choke against Elise Reed, and I don't even know how she got that, but she did. She doesn't have terrible jiu-jitsu, but she does focus more on her striking than she does her takedowns. And I think Alexia Thinera here, after her absolute dominant victory over Molly McCann, I think she's going to be utilizing that jiu-jitsu. I think she's going to be forward pressuring Loma Lookboonmee the entire fight, and I don't think I've seen Alexia Thinera in any of her fights in her career gas. She does have a lot of submission victories, a lot of really, really good jiu-jitsu scrambles, and I think with Loma Lookboonmee here, she's going to get caught up against the fence and held, or eventually submitted in the later rounds. I'm going to go with Alexia Thinera to win via submission or decision. I don't think this is going to go to just a stand-up war. It seems as though women's MMA is like a decade behind men's. It seems that the old school was like, if you're a striker, you don't really have a whole lot of good takedown defense. A lot of the women strikers who are predominantly just using stand-up do not have a lot of good takedown defense. Loma Lookboonmee is one of them, and I'm a little bit worried here for her, especially because she's been submitted before in her career. Granted, this is 7 years ago against Sawan Bjornsson, or Bornson, whatever the fuck her name is. She's terrible. I've seen one of her fights on YouTube, and she's absolutely horrendous. She did get into the UFC awfully early in her career. She was only, 3-1? Or, no, 2-1. Jesus Christ, that's fucking crazy. I just have a bit of a problem with her striking, and I think she's going to get just eventually taken down. I don't think she has the takedown defense to deal with it. Next on the prelims, UFC newcomers Brando Pericek and Elijah Ellison. Jesus Christ, these names are crazy. I'm going to be going with the favorite in Brando Pericek. I mean, he is 6'5". He's got really good distance management, out of city kickboxing, more reliable than combat sport and fitness, where Chase Hooper's out of. It seems as though those guys focus on what those guys are 100% good at and don't really improve any other situations of their game. And I don't really know why they don't do that. Chase Hooper's striking is still atrocious. Elijah Ellison is terrible with his jiu-jitsu. Brando Pericek is actually pretty good everywhere. He does have pretty good knockout capability. He does have really good submission threat on the ground. He is pretty big. He's almost at the max weight. And he is a city kickboxing. They do utilize these guys' cardio quite a lot. I am going to favor Brando to either take a distance or end up finishing Elijah on the ground. I think Elijah Ellison gets a little bit overzealous. I think he's going to overthrow and eventually get taken down. And I think for newcomers, this isn't really a bad fight, but lackluster of a record, going to be a bit of a shit fest, and if this does go past the first round, it's probably going distance unless these guys absolutely collapse on the floor. I'm going to go with Brando Pericek as a minus 185 against Elijah Ellison. It doesn't really seem that close, but I mean, granted, Elijah has one more fight in his career, whoop-de-fucking-do, but Conquest of the Cage is not exactly what I'm looking for when I'm looking for reputable organizations to pick from. Now, next on the prelims, we have Luana Carolina versus Michelle Montague, or whatever the fuck you want to call her. I'm going to probably go with Jesus. This is where I'm a bit tossed up in arms here. Okay, Ariane Lipski da Silva, okay on the ground, ended up with a knee bar over Luana. Okay, I get it. Molly McCann, spinning back elbow, was losing that fight. Okay, sure. Joanne Wood, split decision. A little bit of a red flag, but that's fine. Julia Stoliarenko, crucifix finish. That's a big deal to me. Stoliarenko is a very highly rated black belt. Granted, she's fucking terrible at MMA, but she is very good at jiu-jitsu. She's got very good submissions. She's very dominant on the floor. Luana Carolina was able to survive everything and end up in a crucifix with her on her ass and just beating the shit out of her with elbows. That's a big, big green flag for me. I'm going to be picking Luana Carolina to get this done via decision. I think Michelle Montag is getting a minus 220 price at a not very favorable time. She is out of American Top Team. This is a very, very highly touted team. This is a highly, highly rated team of absolute dominating coaches who have created absolute killers throughout the years. Top Team has taken a bit of a dive over the last probably 5 years. A lot of their contenders don't really fight anymore or are quite old. Luana Carolina here, not out of a highly reputable gym, but she does have the capability to stand with Michelle Montag, and Montag seems that if she does not get a submission victory, she doesn't really know what to do yet, and she has lost 2 decisions in her career at amateur, and this is to a girl who was able to stop the submission threat from her. And I think if Luana Carolina can at least stop the submission threat and get to a decision, the plus 3.5 is free at a minus, I think, 125 to get Carolina at a 1-round disadvantage. I would like to pick Luana Carolina here, though. I think Montag is just getting too high of a price when it comes to a newcomer. I do understand that she is good, but PFL is not exactly the league that you want to be looking towards. Next, and realistically, Luana Carolina, Lucy Pudialova would probably beat the fuck out of most girls that Montag has beaten. So Luana Carolina has beaten up a lot of women that would just fuck up any competition Michelle even has to offer up. Next on the prelims, Colby Thickness versus Josias Musasa. We're going with Colby Slickness Thickness. I think he gets it done as an underdog here. I think the grappling and the stand-up capability of Colby is a really, really big green flag here. I think he's able to stand with Musasa, and I think he's going to be able to eventually get him to the floor where he's going to have a really, really easy time submitting Josias Musasa, who looks like he's a bit confused when it comes to the floor game. He doesn't really have a lot of good jiu-jitsu. He has decent takedown defense, but if he does get tagged, he's going to get put to the floor. Carlos Vera was able to get him, and I don't think Colby's slickness is any different from Vera when it comes to the ground game. Very, very strong. Vera does have a very, very highly touted black belt, but I think Colby is at least close in regards. He does have very, very good scrambles, has really nasty back takes, and he does have really, really good power in his hands. I think the elbows come through for him as well. I think Josias Musasa is going to be trying to throw down, and I think Colby's just going to be a little bit more, without the pun, slick over Josias Musasa. I'm going to go with Colby Thickness to get it done as a plus 125 underdog on live odds. I think he's just going to be a little bit better than Josias Musasa, and if Musasa has to knock out, which he kind of does, he is a KO wizard, as his nickname suggests. If he does need to knock out, which he probably will, he probably will when it comes to Colby. Colby didn't get knocked out by Alexandre Tuporia, and Tuporia hits like a fucking truck. So I'm going to go with Thickness to get it done via submission or decision, which is probably sitting at a plus 140 or better. Next on the prelims, Jamie Malarkey versus Rolando Bedoya. I'm going with Jamie Malarkey. Rolando Bedoya, when I watch him, I kind of want to shut my brain off and not watch it again. Had a split decision with Chaos Williams, which was terrible to watch. Kenneth Song beat the fuck out of him. Jai Herbert had a good comeback against him. Comeback win, I guess. I think Jai was on a bit of a loss streak before that. Yeah, a bit of a weird streak. I do have a bit of a problem with Jamie Malarkey's chin. It's a little bit chinny, but he does have a lot of knockout losses to absolute ferocious hitters. Did go to the distance with Faraz Zaim. Muhammad Naimov kind of just clipped him with something good. And Nazar Hakparas, Mauricio Rufi, these are two guys with absolutely devastating powder. Does Rolando Bedoya have that? Not particularly from what I've seen. He's got okay mix-up capabilities, but I don't think when it really comes down to it, Rolando Bedoya is going to be able to do a whole lot. I think Jamie Malarkey is the better mix-up artist. I think he has better hands. He is quite set up. He is a UFC lover boy as well. He does do everything for the company. He is willing to do whatever. He has his contract negotiated every single time perfectly, never complains, always picks up fights, doesn't complain about what he gets. And, I think this is a bit of a layup for him. I think the odds suggest otherwise, but I think the UFC gave him this matchup to get Bedoya out of the UFC and to give him a bit of momentum leading on his career. Jamie Malarkey is only 31 years of age. He's a bit of a journeyman. When it comes to the way he fights, he doesn't really improve a whole lot, but I think Recently, he's been locking down. Got 2 losses in a row. Everything from his Instagram went from travel fucking shit to locking in at the gym. I'm gonna go with Jamie Malarkey to get it done as a even pick 'em. Rolando Bedoya is just kind of trash, and I don't like watching him regardless. I want him out of the UFC. And that's what we're hoping for. Next on the prelims, Andre Petroski versus Cam Roston. And if you think I'm going to pick the guy who knocked himself out on Jacob Malkoun's hip, you're fucking wrong. Cam Roston, I'm going to pick by either knockout or decision. It seems as though Andre Petroski, when he gets in firefights, gets tagged quite often. And if Michel Pereira, Jacob Malkoun, if you're getting knocked out by your own fucking, your own momentum, I'm going to go with Cam Roston to absolutely piece you the fuck up. I think he has really, really good striking capabilities. I think his ground game is so good that Andre Petroski's not going to really want to grapple with him when it comes down to the extensive submission threat. And I think Andre Petroski is good in the wrestling enough to get Cam Roston to the ground. Excuse me, fuck man, I'm too tired after work. If you really think that Cam Roston's going to get submitted though or held there, I think you're wrong. I think Cam Roston's going to be able to get back up and keep moving. I think Roston's going to be a bit better in the situations than Andre Petroski. Give me Cam Roston to win all day. Rodolfo Vieira was out decision by him, but it's just some fucking shit to watch, man. Andre Petroski is just kind of shit. I don't like watching him. He's 34 years of age. Doesn't really look like he's going to improve anymore. Give me Cam Roston. Next on the prelims, Navajo Sterling versus Rodolfo Bellato. We're going to go with Navajo Sterling to win by knockout or decision. It seems that Rodolfo Bellato in his career has been shown to come back with very, very high level cardio, has really, really good sustainability, doesn't really have too bad of a chin. Does get cracked, though, has had, Jimmy Crute, Paul Craig, weird thing. I had a bit of a problem with Navajo Sterling in his last fight. He fought Ivan Urslan. He also fought Tuco Tucos and took these guys to distance after seeing him in the Contender Series. It kind of gives me a bit of red flags. It seems as though he fights very point-oriented. Doesn't really look like he's going to look for the knockout unless he has, absolute certainty that he's going to get it. And I think when it comes to Rodolfo Bellato's pressure, I don't know if Navajo Sterling's going to be able to impose his game plan. Fuck! God damn it! I don't think he's going to be able to impose his game plan as much as he thinks he will. But, I can't pick Bellato, though. He doesn't have good enough wins on his record. Iho Portera and Talha, those are not good enough for me to pick you. And you had some weird fucking wins, or some weird fights against Jimmy Crute and Paul Craig. You also got knocked out by Vitor Petrino. Red flags all around. Give me Navajo Sterling on the line. I think it's just a little bit better than going the decision prop or whatever the fuck I said. Minus 250 is good enough for Navajo Sterling, who's been like a minus 500 his whole fucking career so far. Give me the line that's a little bit tastier, and let's move on. Next, to start off the main card of the evening. If you guys did enjoy this so far, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. It's not my fault. I'm fucking yawning, okay? I'm tired. I worked. Did you? Are you still in your basement? Start off the main card, Tom Nolan versus Charlie Campbell. We're going to be going on with Charlie Campbell. I think he's going to get it done via knockout. We will, if you're betting it, knockout or decision, just in case Tom Nolan takes it, distance. But Tom Nolan's kind of a round one finisher, and he does look okay, I guess, when he goes distance. But Charlie Campbell looked really good against Chris Duncan. Ended up getting clipped in that fight in the Contender Series. Ended up coming back, knocking the fuck out of Alex Reyes back into the next dimension. And then he got Trevor Peek, and he was able to survive everything Trevor Peek had to throw at him, and it was bombs. Trevor Peek was throwing fucking heat, and Charlie Campbell didn't give a shit. He had good defensive capabilities, was able to outgas, or I guess not outgas. He was able to gas out Trevor Peek. Peek only lasts about a round and a half, but able to gas him out. Tom Nolan here didn't really look that good against Nicholas Mota. Ate some big strikes, went down cold, and I'm a bit worried for him after a decision against Reyes and a decision against Borshev. It seems he's a little bit more gun-shy than he was normally. He has, rocked some guys, rocked Reyes, but Charlie Campbell hits like a fucking truck. Okay, this guy hits like a fucking truck. He is shorter by 3 inches against Tom Nolan, but Tom Nolan's going to be having a bit of an issue with the pressure. There's going to be a lot of fucking pressure from Charlie Campbell in this fight. He is going to walk Tom Nolan down. He's going to put everything in his face, and if Tom Nolan cannot counter-strike, which usually he is the guy advancing, and Nicholas Mota proved that if you fucking force some shit on him, he doesn't do too well. I think he's going to get clipped by Campbell, and I think he's going to get put out. I'm going to go with Charlie Campbell to win by knockout. It seems as though Tom Nolan's questioning his decision still. When you're fighting Charlie Campbell, there is no question. You cannot question yourself. Chris Duncan did not question himself. He was questioning himself for a little bit when he was rocked there, and then he was like, I got to lock down, fucking stood on his shit and put Campbell back in his fucking place. I think Tom Milne's going to need to do that. Do I think he can? Not really. Next on the main card, Louis Sutherland versus Justin Tafa. And now, I cannot in good faith pick Justin Tafa. This guy is fucking shit. Okay? Talishan Teixeira, one elbow put him out. Carl Williams, decision loss. Austin Lane, congratulations, you put him out. Parker Porter, an absolute piece of shit. Louis Sutherland actually has traps. He actually looks big. He looks like he can actually take a distance, which it seems he does. He has gone distance before against Matselim Dos Santos. He got knocked out into Luke Newland last time around in his career. Looked fucking, fantastic, great. Do I think it's a big win? Not really. Do I think Justin Tafa is anything else but a fucking wall in his way? Not really. Do I think Louis Sutherland's going to get knocked out? No fucking chance. Justin Tafa is going to eat shit in this fight. And the problem is, if Justin Tafa makes it past a round, he loses. It's over. As soon as it gets past a round, we are too gassed to do anything anymore, and we lose. Louis Sutherland knows that the first minute and a half, Justin Tafa is the most dangerous. What is he going to do? He's going to probably mimic exactly what Talishan Teixeira did. He's going to force Justin Tafa against the cage, not allow Tafa to move, and just eventually elbow him or put him on his ass, where he's going to eventually get elbowed and put out with ground and pound shots. I'm going to go with Louis Sutherland to get a knockout victory over Justin Tafa. It seems too easy. The line is plus 300 for a KO, and the line is also plus 300 for decision prop. Makes no fucking sense. Put your money on the KO prop, and let's see Louis Sutherland get it done as a UFC debutant against the absolute bad man and trash man, Justin Tafa, who, I don't know, his brother's also a fucking loser. That dude was a piece of shit. Lost and gave the middle finger to a dude just because he's a fucking salty bitch. He's a little fucking crybaby pussy. Louis Sutherland's going to win. I think he gets it done. And as a plus 100, even though he's a UFC debutant, seems way too easy, not going to lie. Next on the main card, Jake Matthews versus Neil Magny. We're going to go with the Celtic Kid. It seems as though in his time in his career is coming to an end. Neil Magny has not looked the same in his last 5 fights as he had in his last decade of fighting. The Haitian sensation had a win against Mike Malott, but was losing those first 2 rounds pretty clearly. One of them was 10-8. Had a loss against Michael Morales in the first round. Had a loss against Carlos Prates in the first round. Was able to knock out Eliseo Zaleski dos Santos, who was also a little bit older. He got cracked in the first round. Was able to, wade through it. Had Eliseo a little bit tired in that second round, and eventually knocked him out with ground and pound shots. I think Jake Matthews is just too quick. He's really good at mix-up now. He's really improved since that loss against Michael Morales. Really looking good. Darius Flowers' submission was cool. And now he's coming down the stretch with Chidi Njokuani submission, a Prado easy victory, and Phil Rowe, who's an absolute smasher, was able to beat the fuck out of him as well. I think Neil Magny is a bit in over his head with this fight. 38 years of age, kind of on the downfall. Now you got Jake Matthews in front of you. I think it's a problem. I think Jake Matthews wins easily. Minus 500 favorite is minus 400 on Bet365 if you go check it out. And decision prop looking at like a minus 160 probably. I would say knockout or decision. I would say probably just stay away from this fight if you're betting it. If you're not betting the knockout prop, stay away from it. Jake has a very good chance to knock out Neil Magny here and just put him on his ass. Do I think he does it? I don't know. Neil has 7 inches of reach. How hard is it going to be for Jake to get in? Probably pretty fucking hard, but he will be able to do it. I believe in him, and I think he gets it done. Let me take a swig of this shit. I'm dying over here with some absolute cottonmouth. Next on the main card, Jack Jenkins versus Ramon Taveras. What time? 18 minutes. Not bad. We're going to go with Jack Jenkins. Ramon Taveras lost against Series City, I thought, in the rematch. It looked pretty shit to me. Knockout win over Cortavius Romeus, but we know that guy's kind of fucking buns. Davey Grant lost. Davey Grant kind of put a show on him and showed that there is no place for Ramon Taveras inside the UFC if you can't beat old man Grant. And now you have Jack Jenkins, who's looking to just kind of take over everything that this fucking poor guy has. And I think Jack Jenkins is... he's just better, man. I mean, granted, he had a loss against Shepe, but that's just from the arm fuck up in the second round, the takedown. Gabriel Santos was able to submit him inside the third round, which I was pretty surprised about, but it's understandable, at least coming from the side of Gabriel Santos, where he's just really good everywhere. And I think previously in his career, Jack Jenkins has looked pretty decent. I think Ramon Taveras is a plus 240. He's a little bit disrespectful. I do like Ramon Taveras a little bit. He does have some nice striking, but I do like him and his wife. They actually do, they look like a fucking good couple online. They look like they're happy. They fucking, they're not like flexing nothing. They actually, like, post some cool shit. It's actually cool to watch. Ramon Taveras is actually a decent guy, it seems like. I don't know the guy personally, but I don't want to hate on his life too much. But it seems as though Jack Jenkins here, a lot better on the ground, and Ramon Taveras on the floor. I don't know how he's going to do. Give me Jack Jenkins to win via whatever the fuck he wants. And we'll see if Ramon Taveras and Bulldog Boxing can make a comeback inside the UFC, because right now it's not looking too fucking pretty. We're going to go to the co-main event of the evening. Again, if you guys did enjoy this, make sure to drop a like. It helps me out. Put a comment down. Let me know what you guys are picking. I want to hear it. I want to see. We got Jimmy Crute easily in this matchup. Even Ursulin should not be inside the UFC. KSW was a spot he should have fucking stayed forever. He should have just made his money there. Looked like shit against Ian Cutelaba in a split decision. Looked like shit against Navajo Sterling. And now you have Jimmy Crute, who just absolutely put it on Hidalgo Blado before getting a little bit gas and losing, well, not losing, but getting a draw. A guy who just submitted Marcin Prachnio, and now you got Jimmy Crute, who's going to beat the fuck out of even Ursulin. He's going to beat the fuck out of him. He's going to knock him inside the first round. He'll put him on his ass, or he'll submit him, and he'll show him who's boss. I got Jimmy Crute all day. I think this guy gets a first-round submission. I think he gets it very, very quickly. I think Ivan Ursulin's going to be out of the UFC after this fight, and I think his time has come and gone. This guy should just go back to the KSW, go be a champ there again, or at least try to be a champ. You weren't a champ before. You tried twice, you fucking lost, then you go to the UFC. Yeah, that's your first fucking mistake. Your first mistake was losing in another organization and coming over here, okay? We're going to go into the main event of the evening. This is one for legacy, this is one for sport, and this is one for all of the boomers who are looking for a little bit of hope in their fucking life. We have Carlos Ulberg, the Black Jag, taking on Dominick, the Devastator, Reyes. And we're going to be picking Dominick Reyes to get a knockout or decision victory over Carlos Blackjack Ulberg. Ulberg did gas out against Kennedy and Jetsuku. That was at altitude, I understand, but this is a 5-round fight. If we're in the 4th and 5th round, it will feel like altitude for Carlos Ulberg, and it will not feel like altitude for Dominick Reyes. He has been here before. He has gone 5 rounds with John Jones. He has gone 5 rounds with the best of the best in the world. He has seen some of the hardest men in the sport, and he has beaten some of the hardest men in the sport, and he is looking to overtake Carlos Ulberg as the #1 running contender to try and catch that gold at heavy or light heavyweight. And it seems as though Black Jag is in contention to just get it right off of this fight. I think Dominick Reyes is here to stop that. I think Carlos Ulberg's a little bit overzealous with his striking. He looked like shit against Jan Blachowicz, and Jan Blachowicz is 40. Jan Blachowicz is 40 and he was getting fucked up. I thought Jan won that fight 2-1. I can see how you went Carlos Ulberg, but again, go watch that fight back. I thought it was pretty clear 2-1 for Jan Blachowicz. I was surprised it wasn't even a split decision. I understand you trying to get the younger guy forward, but if Dominick Reyes can put on a similar performance and beat the fuck out of him for 5 rounds, I think he's going to have a really good shot at winning this fight. Or on the scorecards at least, when it comes down to it. And I think the knockout capability is really, really there. I think Carlos Ulberg, when he gets gassed, gets real fucking just wingy, throws a lot of wild shit, and I think Dominick Reyes can take advantage of it. I think he gets it done inside distance or by decision. That basically just means money line. By KO or decision, fuck. I don't know what I'm talking about, okay? I think it's easy for Reyes. Well, I say easy. I think it's easier than most fights in this fucking division. Who else is there left? Yuri, Jamal Hill, Alex Pereira, Magomed Ankalaev. Jamal Hill will probably be a lot easier for Dominick, but still. It seems easy. I'm going to go with Reyes. Plus 200 is just fucking laughable for a guy who just put out Nikita Krylov, Anthony Smith, and Jacoby all in the first round. We're going to go home. We're done. That's it. You thought there was another fight? We're done. That's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you have not already. I will see you guys all tomorrow for the live stream starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be here for the entire fight card, and I will see you guys then. Have a fantastic rest of your week, guys, and drop all of your predictions in the comments below. Let's see if we can make a parlay and smash some money. I'll talk to you guys all later. Peace.